According to the arrangement, yeah. So today we are going to talk about the fifth commandment, right? The fifth commandment. Now, so we first turn to the book of Exodus. Exodus, chapter 20. Exodus chapter 20. We read from verse 12. Yeah, verse 12. Now, here it says, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God is giving you. Okay, now you find that if you have read the entire commandments very carefully, even in the New Testament, we are told that, the Ten Commandments actually can be divided into two parts. And the first part is from verse 1 to verse 4, which is concerned with our duties, towards God. Right? That is, we must love God. Yeah. Now, the second part actually starts from verse 5. It begins by like educating us, to learn to honor our parents. From the fifth all the way, to the 10th, you know, this section of the commandment teaches us to love man, right? So it's like saying that love must begin from home, just like there is a saying, yeah, which says that you know like charity begins at home, right? So if we say we love God or we love man or whatever, then we have to first start by loving our parents. All right. Now, so when you look at the verse again, yeah, very closely, we understand that this is like a commandment that is attached, yeah, with a promise. Okay, meaning that if we do this or we do this commandment, then you find that we will be blessed tremendously by God. Now, so in this case, and you see that it says we shall be given in a way longevity or life. Okay, now so I think here it highlights to us how important it is, for us to understand our duty, and the blessing that God, would give to us upon fulfilling the duty that He wants us to do. Now, I think even for those who do not know God, or they may not be Christians, and you see that even uh, they know how to honor their parents, love their parents. I think it's human nature as well, uh, unless our conscience is seared. Otherwise, you find that we will always want to, do our best to care for our parents, to love our parents because they have given birth to us, and this is our duty, towards our parents. So it's a commandment that uh, that is given with a promise attached, right? So it goes to show that this is a very important commandment. In a way that if generally speaking, if a person does not show respect to the parents, then God would not be pleased. Okay, now I also want you to look at Deuteronomy. It's practically the same commandment, but just to get yourself familiarized with this commandment as well in different books. All right, now we turn to Deuteronomy chapter 5. Right. All right, we read verse 16. Yeah, verse 16. Now, Okay, now I think there is a slight variation in this. It's not that the commandment is different. It's just that, what is given here is slightly more authoritative in a way. Okay. Now, verse 16, honor your father and your mother as the Lord your God has commanded you, that your days may be long and that it may be well with you in the land which the Lord your God is giving you. Okay, I think there are two key points that stand out here. And the first one is, the phrase that God has commanded you. So it's a direct command from God. It's not like a, a, a man-made rule here. Is given to us by God directly, and therefore there must be no compromise. It has to be upheld. As long as we are a child to our parents, then we have to what um, respect our parent. That is the idea, right? So that's why it says, God has commanded you. Every command from God is important. Okay. Now, so you find that if you look at the other commandment, it seems that they are not given in this way, apart from the fourth and the what and the fifth are given with the word command, right? With this clear instruction. Now, the other thing is, when you look at this verse, it said, longevity we mentioned already, and the other one is that it may be well with you. Okay, now, and this well-being will like follow you whenever you are in the land, in the promised land of God, which the Lord your God is giving you, right? It's like this command was given even before they entered into the land of God, right? So it will be well with you in the land, right? Now, how would we, interpret this, or what is the commandment here trying to convey to us? What are the messages? Yeah, put it this way. Now, you find that, here it says, in the land, when in the promised land of God, yeah. Now, um, you find that it has been how can I put it, a very a sad reality, when they have entered into the land of God, right? And you see a lot of killings, and show no respect to parents, and the parents show no love and concern for their children because of idolatry. They ended up even uh, offering their children to demons. Okay, so and quite clearly, when the commandments of God, were violated, then problems became compounded, right? So many of the children of God suffered as a result, simply because they had not, uh, uh, generally speaking, abided by the commandments of God. Particularly you find that the loving the children or honoring the parents. Okay, now so that's why when you look at this in the context of the New Testament, you know that this promised land refers to the church, or refers to the church. Today we are in the promised land of God, and where the eyes of God, are always on us, meaning He is always there to take care of us. But for us to do well in the community of God, do well in the sense that we are blessed, we receive His grace, you know, then we have to honor our parents. There have been problems, even in the community of faith, yeah, and many of the problems we said are, how can I say it, family related, problems concerning parents and children. So when this relationship is not good, the entire family suffers as a result. Even in the church, right? even in our own home, when we do not show respect to our parents, the problem will multiply, right? Multiplied. Okay. Now, so these are the 2 points that we can look at. Yeah. All right. Now, I want you to turn to Leviticus. We turn to the book of Leviticus, chapter. Okay, 19. Yeah. Yes, chapter 19. Leviticus, chapter 19. We read verse 2 and verse 3. Verse 2 and verse 3. Speak to all the congregation of the children of Israel, and said to them, you shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. Now, I think if you have studied this book before, you would have noticed that the key idea in the book of Leviticus is about God being the holy God. And because he's holy, and therefore we must learn to be holy, and we must pursue to be holy like he is. Now, you find that immediately after saying this, one of the things here mentioned in the next verse is, every one of you shall revere. Revere means respect, okay, honor, basically. But the word here, the degree of respect is like greater. All right. Now, every one of you shall revere his mother and his father, and keep my Sabbaths. I am the Lord your God. Now, it's like these 2 commandments are singled out in a way, and to help explain, what does it mean to, to be holy like God, right? Or to know the Lord your God. Yes, holiness that can be looked at from um, two ways. One is about moral standard, yeah, you know, and the other one is, not to allow corruption, any form of corruption, including not revering the parents, yeah, to creep into the heart. Okay. Now, so in this particular chapter, when God spoke to Moses, right, and this is the message that he wanted Moses to convey to his chosen people. Now, so in the context of holiness, you find that revering our parents, or respecting our parent, yeah, is essential, right? And meaning we cannot be holy without showing respect to our parents. Just like, we cannot be holy, without staying what free from like sexual immorality, that kind of thing, right? Now, so that's the idea. So you find that it's important. It's very important. Like what we said, these 2 commandments. When you look at the book of Deuteronomy, these 2 commandments, came with the direct command from God. Is like, I have commanded you. When you look at the other commandment, it's not like that, right? They are not given in this way. But so the structure of the commands, or of the commandments here is quite different, right, as compared to the rest. Okay, so respecting, parents actually is a very important message, to us all. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, I want you to look at some example in the Old Testament scriptures, for a son who is rebellious, who did not honor the parents, or who was against the parents all the time, then you find that there is a set of rules, yeah, stipulated by Moses, yeah, to deal especially with, let's say, a rebellious son. Obviously, today we don't do that, yeah. But when we talk about filial piety, showing respect to the parents, Christianity, or the law of Moses, yeah, demands all children of God to show respect, right, to their parents. Okay, I want you to read Deuteronomy chapter 21. Please turn to Deuteronomy chapter 21. We look at verse 18. 21 verse 18. Now, if a man has a stubborn and rebellious son who will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and who, when they have chastened him, will not heed them. Now, verse 19, yeah. Then his father and his mother shall take hold of him, yeah, and bring him out to the elders of the city, to the gate of the city. Now, you know, the gate of the city is the place, where cases, are judged or are determined. The judges, would preside over, cases, yeah, by the gate of the city, right? So this is like a court, in those days. Now, what happened if a person has a stubborn son, a rebellious son, and this is what he has to do, particularly after this son has been chastened, has been rebuked by the parents. If he refuses to hear or to change himself, then he has to be taken to the what? To the judge, at the city gate, right? Now, and if you read on, yeah, you read on, the consequence of not obeying, or being rebellious, that can, can be very harsh when you look at the punishment. Okay, verse 20. And they shall say to the elders of his city, this son of ours is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. Okay. Now, verse 21. Then all the men of this city shall stone him to death with stones. So you shall put away the evil from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. Now, the Bible said this is an evil, and this evil must be removed. So to be disrespectful to our parents, is, I would say, in the law of Moses, is a criminal offense. Yeah, it's punishable by death. Is that serious? Okay. Now, so, and here when you look at verse 20, the last part is saying he will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. I think this will bring us back to the prodigal son. The prodigal son, and how he squandered away all the wealth that the father has given to him. Actually, when you look at that parable, yeah, the son actually is far worse than the rebellious son here. In mentioned in Deuteronomy. You know why? Because the son actually asked for, his share of the inheritance even before the father died, and that is how can I say it? That is like looking at the father, treating the father with the most severe form of contempt. Okay, the father was still alive, and he asked for money already, yeah, because he wanted to enjoy himself. You know, Actually, that son, even if he were to return, he should be put to death, according to the law of Moses. And that is the worst form of disrespect to the parents. It's like saying to the father, yeah, you can go and die now, I don't care about you. I just go away from you and enjoy myself. That kind of thing. It's very serious. Right? Now, so you find that, when you look at this commandment, we understand the intention of God. God has set up a proper order, for every family. So if we want to have, how can I say, a blessed family, then this order must be followed. Okay, if I'm a child, if I'm a son to my parents, then I have to obey them, show respect to them. And this is how I will be blessed. And this is how God will protect me. And this is how I will obtain blessing, from God when I am in the community of faith. Okay. Now, so we move on, to so I think in the Bible there are many precious teachings concerning how can I say um, family, ethics. All right. Now I want you to look at Proverbs. We turn to Proverbs. Proverbs. We look at chapter 20, chapter 23. Now, there is a very interesting point here, verse 22. Yeah? Verse 22. Here it tells us about respecting parent must start from the heart. Okay, must start from the heart. It's not just outward, and not outward. And you find that, when you look at a young child, sometimes a young child may not show respect because what a young child refuses to listen, to his father, right? Now, if you look at this verse, we can divide the verse into two parts. It's like, how can I put it? This verse talks about, the two stages in the life of a person. Okay. Now, when we are young, what should we do? We listen to our father, right? Listen to our father. Now, when you look at the book of Proverbs, the father is always in the position to teach, his children. Ask the children to listen. Because the father has a lot to offer to the children. I mean, to teach the children as well. Okay, that's why the children is required to listen. So if a child refuses to listen, let's say a young child or even a grown up or an adult, or refuses to listen to the parents, then obviously, and this is not right, in the sight of God. It will not go well with him. Now, even after we have grown up, listening to our parent is important. Okay, now listening to them. Sometimes we talking about if our parents are elderly, we need to spend time to listen to them. Okay, now I think we all know that when you look at an old person, sometimes what the person says may not make sense, because of his age, because yeah, the function of the body, have declined, so much that they can't really, how can I say, speak, sensible things or whatever. This is inevitable because of age. Now, for us, we have to listen as well. Now, we are not talking about giving instruction, from the parents. Now, we said be patient to listen to them. Okay, if we truly truly respectful to our parents, then we need to spend time. Right? Sit down, listen to them, even though what they say may not be sensible, we still have to listen. Because by doing that, we actually make them happy. Right? We make them feel that we really care for them, and this time must be spent on them. You'll find that today, not many people are willing to sit, by the side of the parents to listen to them. Okay, now the second part is, that everyone grows old, whether you like it or not. This is part of life. Is unavoidable. Now here it says, do not despise your mother when she is old. What does that tell us about? It tells us that, yes, maybe now our parents may not be as, how can I say, as advanced as we are, in terms of, how can I say, in every aspects of our life, right? Now, due respect must also still must be given to our parents. Okay, now you find that God is, how can I say, whatever God has put in place, right, has set in order, is really makes a lot of sense to us. Okay, and you can see that God, how can I say, God is a meticulous God, right? Meaning he looks into details, right? Every part of our life, must be governed by His principle. Must 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 be, how can I say, must be lived out in a way that we can portray, the virtues of God, and this is one of them. Do not despise your mother when she's old. And I think it goes to show that, it goes to show that if we can do this to our parents, then very, very likely we will not despise anyone that, whom we have come into contact with, or whom we have met. I think some people, they are so afraid of their parents or elderly parents, because they feel that, when um, they are with their parents, the parents may utter some words that are not very helpful, not very edifying, that kind of thing, and therefore, they become angry as a result, right? Now, obviously, this situation can be managed, can be handled more carefully, right? Now, but not by despising them. Definitely, no, you can't do that. We cannot do that. Otherwise, we show disrespect to our parents, and it's against the commandments of God. All right. So I think from what we have studied so far, we understand. Yeah, it is so important for us to show respect. All right. Now, I just want to mention about why people, right? Why people can't, show respect to the parents. Now, the people of the world today, to them, to show respect mean what? To give money to the parents. That's it. That's it. Okay. Well, this is one of the concepts of showing filial piety or respect to the parents. In fact, this is not what the Bible teaches. Okay. Now, so um, we have a lot of excuses for not showing respect. Now, one of the things or excuses we say is a lame excuse. Right? It's not exactly an excuse. It's an excuse, but it's just a lousy excuse. Right? No, saying, "Oh, I'm busy. I have no time. Can't you see that? I'm so busy with my work. I have a lot of things to do." Like the younger, children who said, those who are, for example, in universities, in college, who said, "No, no, no, I'm so busy with my work. Please don't disturb me. Please, give me some space and some time to do my own things." That kind of excuses. That is not acceptable. That is not acceptable. Because our life, yeah, for us who are younger, obviously, children who are still live with the parents, they are in a way closely connected to their parents. Yeah, closely connected to the parents, and therefore you find that, due respect, we say, every moment of the life, yeah, must be lived in such a way that respect is given to the parents. And this is what God requires us to do. Okay, so is very clear. Now, I just want you to look at one example given in the Bible, in the New Testament scriptures. We turn to Matthew chapter 5. Please turn to Matthew chapter 5. And we read 15, not 5. Sorry. It's too quick. It's actually verse 5. Okay. This is one of the excuses, yeah. But we said this again is a lame excuse. It's not really an excuse. Now, verse 5. But you say, whoever says to his father or mother, whatever profits you might have received from me is a gift of God, a gift to God, then he need not honor his father or mother. Thus you have made the commandments of God of no effect by your traditions. Now, Jesus is citing we said an example of their time. All right, it's a local example. And some people said, no, I cannot give money to my parents anymore. Maybe their wages, were not too much. Just enough, whatever, for them to go by or whatever. All right. Now, so they said, the excuse for not caring for the parent is, look, I have given the money to the temple already, and therefore, I cannot afford any more, by giving money to the parents or to to support the livelihood of the parents. And what did Jesus say? Thus you have made the commandments of God of no effect by your tradition. I just want to emphasize on the last part of verse 6. Okay, we may not be in the same situation, yeah, like the people were in the time of Jesus. Today, you'll find that we have made the commandment of God of no effect by our own choice or by the things that we do or by what we perceive to be right or things that we deem to be right in our own eyes. Okay, uh, like we say, oh, I have no time for my parents, I have to study very hard because like now or I have to work so hard, to make ends meet, that kind of thing. And again, this is what we have made the commandment of God of no effect by our own choice, by the things that we do. But that's the point I want to emphasize here. Okay, so as far as honoring the parents is concerned, there must be no excuse. We cannot. Even if you are truly busy in your life, you still have to respect. You still have to make time, yeah, for your parents. Okay. Now, let me say something very practical now. All right. Now, I think if your parents are still alive, just like my mom, you know, is still alive, for me, I wouldn't say I have done a very good job, but I try, I try to learn. And so um, I will give her a call, how can I say, after my work, before the pandemic, I would travel to different part of the UK or something, Africa or other parts, right? So every time when I'm back, I'll call, or before I go, I will call, or I'll pay a visit, to my parents. Yeah, I think to me, I believe that this is my duty. Yes, I can be very busy, very much tied down by my work. It's true, but I still have the duty to show my concern to them, because this is what the Bible wants us to do. Otherwise, I'm guilty of what Jesus is saying here in the last part of verse 6. I have made the commandments of God of no effect by my what? By my own things. Okay? By my own busyness. Right? So I think this is very important, to if you want to be blessed by God, because this is a commandment that carries blessing, right? So I think when the parents around are still alive, or maybe we don't feel how important it is, to be close to them. Once they are gone, then we will not have any more choice, more chance to be close to them. So while they are still alive, then we need to do whatever we can, to talk to them, just to make them um, how can I say, make them happy in the like the final part of their life. Anyone who passes 80, we know that is, we said, the days for them are, are not many, are not many. So we need to care for them. I think one of the things that we have to do as children, we need to talk to them about God, not just giving them money, buying them food, whatever. Yes, all these are good, but what is even more important is talk to them about the Word of God. Yeah, if possible, pray together with them, that kind of thing. I think that is even more essential. Okay, we want to give them the best, just like they have given us their best to us, or just like what they have given to us. Yeah, what they deem best, they have given to us. So we need to do the same to them. Yeah, it's like a kind of in response to their grace and kindness that they have shown to us. You find that this is unending kindness from them. Right, so I think these are the points that we need to bear in mind. All right. Okay. Now coming back to being busy with no time, actually that tells us not just something outward, not just something outward. Actually, it tells us about who we are, right? Who we really are, what is in the mind. If no respect is given to the parents and no time is given to the parents, and that speaks volume about who we are, right? Now, I want you to turn to what's that? Second Timothy. Okay, we turn to Second Timothy. We look at chapter 3. Okay, we read from um, verse 1. Okay, we read from verse 1. Okay, but know this, that in the last days perilous times will come, for men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedience to parents, unthankful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderers, without self-control, brutal, despisers of good, traitors, headstrong, haughty, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God. Okay. Now, when you look at this list of things, stated here, this like portray how dangerous, the last day could be. Now, one of the, how can I say, one of the things that's stated in here is being disobedience to parents. Right now, so we must not think that this verse is talking to others or is talking about those who do not know God. No, it's talking about us. It's talking about us. Now let's focus on the middle part first, that disobedience to parents. Now in the understanding of Paul, this is dangerous. Meaning, if I show no respect to my parents, I'm in danger of what? Of deserting God or wandering away from God. That is what Paul is saying. Yeah. Now, so you must not think that this is okay. If I have no time, then it's fine. I don't need to call them. I don't need to care for them. That is wrong, completely wrong. Meaning, this kind of mindset tells us that we are in danger of what? Of departing from God, or even in danger of losing salvation. Is that serious? Okay. Now, when you look at this list of things mentioned in from verse 1 to verse 4, yeah, and you find that lovers, this word here appears countless times, many times. Now, why is it that men are so, how can I say it, are living in a very dangerous world? Because man has become very self-centered. Right? Man cares only for themselves and not others. That's the problem we face today. Even in our own family, in our own, if we only care for ourselves, obviously we won't have time for our children, won't have time for our parents, because we care about ourselves. That's why to use busyness as an excuse for not showing concern to our parent is unacceptable. That's why we say it's a lame excuse, and an excuse that cannot stand by itself, has no ground at all. Right now, so it's the self that has, how can I, caused us to 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 wander further and further away from the righteous requirements or the standard of God that we have to attain to. Right now, so uh, we cannot use busyness as an excuse, all right, as an excuse, and that is not, we said that is not acceptable. Okay, now we understand that, yeah, you find that actually, if you look at it very closely, the Bible says we need to, how can I say, to love one another, right? To love others, or okay, put it this way first, to do good to others, right? To do good to our neighbors. Now, when we talk about neighbors, we are not talking about the people who live around us. Yes, they are our neighbors. No, when the Bible talks about neighbors, the one who is closest to us. No, in our own family, if we still live with our parents, and obviously our parents are the closest to us, or our children are the closest to us. All right. Now, so if you want to do good to others, then make sure you first do good to your own parents, because charity begins at home. All right. We read Galatians. We turn to Galatians. We read chapter 6. Yeah. Galatians chapter 6. We read verse 10. Chapter 6, verse 10. Now, therefore, as we have opportunity, let us do good to all, especially to those who are of the household of faith. Now, I just want to reduce this further, narrow the scope down. Yeah. Now, we know that the faith community consists of many families. Yeah. Now, for the church to be strong, then every family unit, within the faith community must be strong as well. Now, one of the things that Paul is talking about is to do good to all. Now, it says, especially to those who are of the household of faith. Now, so if we want to do goods to, like say in the church, yeah, to one another, what must we do? Do it to our family members first. We said do it to our sibling first. In this case, do it to our parents first. If I can be very nice, to everyone in the church, yeah, everyone thinks that I'm a saint or whatever because I've treated them very well. But if back home I don't care about my parents, then I'm a hypocrite, right? Because I've shown no concern to my parents. That is wrong. Yeah? So that's why you find that God is a God of order. Seriously, whatever you want to do to those who are closest to you, like your immediate family members. Show them your love. Like in this case, for us, we need to respect our parents, right? And so that they feel comforted, or they feel comfortable in life. They are very happy with what we have done, especially in their old age. Like what we said, some of you here may be still very young, and some of us here, um, are approaching, 60 or even not 70, 60. Okay, that kind of things, yeah. So do good to our parents first, and this is something that we cannot forget. All right. Now, the Bible also also tells us that we need to love one another. Okay, now, in fact, when you look at Galatians chapter 6, verse 10, this verse also applies to us. Therefore, as we have opportunity, let me rephrase it slightly or paraphrase it slightly. Therefore, as we have opportunity, let us love one another. Especially, we need to love one another of the household of faith. Okay, in the household of faith. Put it this way. Now, if we narrow it down still further, then we have to what? Love our parents first, love our children, that kind of thing. Right? Now, we can turn to First John, yeah? We turn to First John, chapter 4. Please read First John, chapter 4. Okay, we read verse 20. Yeah? Chapter 4, verse 20. First John, chapter 4, verse 20. Okay, if someone says, I love God and hates his brother, he's a liar. For he who does not love his brother whom he has sinned, how can he love God whom he has not sinned? Now, this also applies to uh, every aspects of our life or every relationship that we have. Now, our relationship with our parents. We say we love God. Some children, they hate their parents because of what they have done to them before, because they are not sensible enough, and they feel that the parents, have not done the right things, to them, in before their what their peers, right? Now, so here, this is what the Lord said. Um, For he who does not love his brother, or we can put it as, for he who does not love his parents, whom he has sinned, how can he love God whom he has not sinned? Same thing. Okay. Now, so that's why you find that love is not just about we said love is not partial. We cannot choose. Oh, I love my friends more than my parents because I have chosen to do so, and this is not right. Okay. So today, if we don't love our parents, then we cannot love God, whom we can see. It's not possible. Right? Now, I think this will bring us to the climax of this commandments here. Our duties as a Christian, our lifelong duty, or the entirety of man is to fear God. So today, if I cannot even respect my parents, how can I fear God? Not possible. Right? Just like the verse we have read in Leviticus chapter 19 just now. Right? If and yes, we need to fear God. If we honor our parents, then we what? Will fear God. Just let me double check it. Okay, I think 19 verse 2 and 3. You don't have to turn to that again. It says, I am the Lord your God. Meaning this instruction is from God. And therefore, if we respect our parent, we are actually respecting, or we say we are fearing God. So that is the climax of the commandments. So eventually, it will lead us to fearing God. That's the main thing. Yeah. Okay. Now, I just want you to read a couple more of verses. Yeah. Before we conclude, we read Ephesians. We turn to Ephesians. chapter 6. Yeah. Okay. We read from verse 1 to verse 3. All right. Verse 1 to verse 3. Now, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with you and you may live long on the earth. Okay. Now, when you look at this, when you look at this, it said, children, obey your parent in the Lord. The phrase in the Lord is important. Okay. And it can mean, yeah. Now, those who are in Christ Jesus, they are required to love. I mean, to obey their parents. And because this is like a direct instruction given to us. Okay. Now the other thing is, and because by doing that, because this is the command from God, and therefore we have to obey. Right? Now, when we do that, like what we have said, we will end up fearing God, honoring God. Okay. Now, so I think from verse 2 to verse 3, this verses can be found in Exodus and Deuteronomy that we mentioned before. So in the Lord, this is required. This is required of us all, to do. Okay. Now we read. What is that? What is that? Colossians. Yeah, we turn to Colossians. Please turn to Colossians. Chapter 3. Yeah? Chapter 3. Verse 20. Yeah, 3:20. Now here it says, children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well pleasing to God. Now again, we need to look at the second part. Well pleasing to God. In all things, he didn't say you have to be selective. That obviously we believe that, when children are required to obey parents, we would assume that the parents are in the Lord. Then obviously whatever instruction given, is right in the eyes of God. So children must obey. So we cannot, like trying to reason it out for ourselves. No, I don't have time. I'm not free. Please don't ask me to do this. Do that kind of thing. In all things, mean total submission. This is what it means. Yeah, is required. Right. So this is how we can respect our parents. Okay. Now, I'm wondering if any one of you want to share or to add on to what I have just said. Okay, please feel free to do so. Now, I think that the key point here is that we cannot develop a kind of dislike or hatred, against our parents. No, you cannot. It's wrong. It's definitely wrong. Sometimes we feel that, especially elderly, people, they tend to be more naggy, keep nagging at you, and sometimes you don't feel good about that. Um, but we need to be more sympathetic. Try to understand, things from their perspective. I mean, try to put ourselves in their shoes, to think for them. Okay. So this is all that I have to say. Any supplement from our brothers and sisters? No. Okay. If you don't have anything to add on, yeah, so we thank God for this session. So I think afterward, Ben will make an announcement anyway. So I think next week we can continue with the sixth commandment. Okay. All right. We kneel down to pray.